Two leaders, two completely different styles, and one moment that turned a global crisis into something personal. Because when Donald Trump took an aim at Keir Starmer, he didn't just criticize him, he mocked him, imitated him, and reduced Britain's military to a joke. Let's watch the first clip.
We'd love to have some help in the Gulf, even though we're setting records and knocking out bad people and knocking out ballistic missiles. No. We cannot do that, Donald. We can do that after the war is won. I said, no, I don't need after the war is won, Emmanuel.
This wasn't just politics. This was a clash of personalities. On one side, Donald Trump, loud, dominant, unfiltered, a man who built his image on strength and never backing down. And on the other side, Keir Starmer, controlled, measured, careful with every word. He's a former lawyer, a strategist, someone who doesn't rush, doesn't react emotionally, and definitely doesn't perform. And that difference, that's exactly what triggered everything. So let's watch the second clip.
Who should be our best. In fact, the king is coming over here in 2 weeks. He's a nice guy, King Charles. But should be our best, right, Brooke? But they weren't our best. I said, you have 2 old, broken down aircraft carriers. You think you could send them over? Oh, I'll have to ask my team. I said, you're the prime minister. You don't have... No. I have to ask my team, President. My team has to meet. We're meeting next week. Oh, next week? But the war already started. Next week, it's not good. The war's going to be over in 3 days.
During a tense discussion about whether the UK should take military action, Trump told a story, but it wasn't just any story, it was an impression. He began imitating Starmer, mocking his voice, mocking his hesitation, portraying him as unsure, almost timid. And then came the line that you just saw in the clip that spread everywhere. 2 old, broken down aircraft carriers. That's how you describe Britain's potential response, not as a serious contribution, not as support, but as something outdated, weak and almost laughable. So let's watch the third clip.
We've had some very bad allies in NATO, and we spend trillions of dollars on NATO, and when we need them, which we never do, we didn't need them here either. To be honest, I was really asking because I wanted to see what they do. We didn't need them. We blasted the hell out of them, out of Iran, and the last thing I needed was NATO stepping in our way, because they're a paper tiger.
Now here where it gets interesting, because Trump doesn't insult randomly. Everything he does has intent. Mockery for him is a weapon. He uses it to control the narrative, shift attention, and most importantly, establish dominance. By impersonating Starmer, he wasn't just joking. He was framing him as indecisive, as weak, as someone who asked for permission instead of taking action. Because in Trump's world, strength is everything, and hesitation, that's failure. And then came the response from Starmer, or rather the lack of one. No public outbursts, no counterattack, no attempt to match Trump's energy, just silence, measured silence. But this is where people get it wrong, because silence isn't always weakness, sometimes it's strategy. Starmer didn't respond emotionally, he didn't engage in the spectacle, because that's not his game. He operates differently, quietly, behind the scenes, focusing on outcomes, not headlines. This moment exposed something bigger, a fundamental difference in leadership. Donald Trump leads through pressure, through dominance, through forcing decisions quickly. Keir Starmer leads through control, through patience, through building consensus. Trump thrives in chaos. Starmer tries to manage it. And when those two styles collide, it doesn't create balance, it creates tension. Because here's a question no one can agree on. Who actually came out stronger? To Trump supporters, this was classic Trump, calling things out, saying what others won't, exposing weaknesses. But others, it looked different. It looked like a leader publicly undermining an ally, especially at a moment when unity mattered the most. And Starmer? Some saw composure and others saw hesitation. But here's the truth. Strength depends on what you value. If you value dominance, Trump won that moment. If you value control, Starmer might have. Because this wasn't just about two men. It was about the future of leadership. Do people want leaders who speak fast, act fast, and hit hard? Or leaders who think first, move carefully, and avoid unnecessary conflict? That question is still unanswered. But one thing is clear. This moment changed how the world sees both men. Donald Trump as the leader who dominates the room, and Keir Starmer as the leader who refused to play that game. And the real question is In a crisis, which one do you trust? Comment below, who do you agree on? Which side?